Well, hello everybody. Good morning and welcome to Live at the Waterhole. It is lovely to be back with you today. My name is Amy and I will be with you for the Waterhole show. And here we are starting off in Kenya with a lot of hippos, it looks like, that are out of the water doing, well, I assume what is to be some grazing. And just enjoying the sunshine. It's not every day that we get to see them out the water, so it is nice that we are able to do that here. And remember that this is a live and interactive show, everybody, so please do chat to me and let me know who you are, where you're watching from, maybe what you're hoping to see today. There's a lot of different ways to do that through various platforms, but either way, even just to chat to you if you do have any questions as we go along in the show or any comments about what we're watching, it would be great to chat to you. Bantarat and Richard, hello to you both. Thank you for saying hi. And yes, it is indeed Tawny Tuesday. I don't know how much tawny we're going to see here at the Waterhole show, but you never know. We have been surprised a few times with tawny cats popping out here and there, sometimes for a drink, sometimes on the hunt. And it's always a treat when that happens. So we'll definitely be looking around and checking. Mercedes, hello, lovely to hear from you. Yes, happy Tuesday to you as well. And I'm excited for the show today. We are going to head over to some baboons now that are at Serengeti. Oh, lovely. We've been seeing a few troops recently, and we've got a tiny little one that's out here at the moment trying to have a drink. And they can be so entertaining. Now, baboon troops can actually get quite large in number. I would say 30 plus, even up to 50 or so, for troops that I've seen moving through areas. This looks like a quite small group, but at the same time we might not be able to see them all. Sometimes they do split off. Oh, look at this little one. It looks like it just face planted straight into the water. So this might just be a small portion of a larger troop that's spending some time here at the water. Mr. Elemental, it is. It's great to see baby baboons. It's a good start for us. And Trudy, hello. You're greeting us from the Netherlands. Lovely to hear from you. It's always nice to know that there are viewers joining us from all over the globe. Jamie, so that's a very interesting question. Now, I have not spent any time with gorillas, although that is something that is a dream of mine to be able to do. And you're asking the question as to why baboons don't vocalize as often as gorillas. So that's something I'll have to read up into to sort of understand a little bit more about gorilla behavior in comparison to baboons. But I assume that it primarily has to do with the way they communicate and what they need their vocalizations to communicate for. All right, we're going to head back over to Missouri. Okay, well, we have an elephant arriving here in between the hippos, which is always interesting to see if there is any interaction between the two very large grey animals. Now, elephants are known to not necessarily always be bullies, but they can definitely throw their weight around, especially I'm assuming this is a bull elephant here on its own, and they do demand respect, and anything that's in their way generally moves out of it. So you would expect, as I think has just happened here, that the hippo sort of moved out of the way of the elephant. They love to do a little head shake, the elephants, and that can also be quite intimidating. It definitely is when you're on a vehicle and they do that to you. Ari, hello. You are saying good morning to myself and Nadine and Mika, who are in the final control helping direct the show today. Thank you so much. You're also joining us from the Netherlands. It's wonderful to hear from you. It looks like this elephant has really gone to a spot there where there must be some sort of water or mud that it wanted to get to there, whereas the rest of the hippos are very happy out of the water. Oh, there's another elephant. That makes a little bit more sense. Wow, what a view, everyone. This is such a beautiful spot. You can see there's sort of a bit of a river system or drainage that runs through this area, which is why it is attracting so many animals, and the beautiful lodge and accommodation there on the left. Just imagine having that as your view. My word. Spectacular. Okay, well, we are going to stay in Kenya, but this time head over to Oldonyo. Well, it's lovely to be back here. We have some giraffe and eland that are around. Snazzy Fries, you want to know about the birds that sit on giraffe? Great question, because if you are seeing something like that and you're not sure what it is kind of odd, isn't it? But the birds generally that we see sitting on most of the animals out here, when you do see a bird sitting on them, it is likely to be an oxpecker. There are a few other species like cattle egrets even. I've seen a photo of a carmine bee-eater on a larger bird called a corrie bustard, so it can happen, but most of the time they are oxpeckers, and oxpeckers eat the ticks mostly that are on these animals like giraffes, so they're very, very important in what they do in reducing the tick load on animals and helping maintain balance in the ecosystem. We can hear them actually calling a little bit there, sort of like the shrill of a call that you can hear. Sometimes they also hop down to the water to have a drink or a water bath when their host species arrives. Oh, you can hear them quite nicely now. Very clear one there on the neck of the one giraffe, and these would be the red-billed oxpecker, but we do get another species that we see relatively regularly, but they're not as common, at least here in the low veld. When we see one, we're quite excited about the yellow-billed oxpecker, which has a half yellow, half red bill. Oh, there's a little warthog arriving. Oh, with a piglet. Oh, that's very cute. Wow, you can see the size comparison there. What a great chance to just see the feet of the giraffe in comparison to the size and the height of the warthog. Looks like the giraffe is very close to coming to drink. It's been sort of circling around the waterhole. Oh, that little one is cooling off a little bit there. Morgan, you'd like to know if I think giraffe will ever evolve to be shorter. Morgan, I don't think so. Of course, we don't know the future, but I think their reasoning for being so tall has to do with the vegetation that they consume and a niche that they occupy, being the tallest land mammal, allowing them to reach other areas that other animals can't generally, other than elephants if they sort of break off a branch or something like that. So realistically, I don't think that will happen, but you never know. If something happens on Earth that, you know, there's just the trees in the areas where giraffes occur, there might be a catastrophe and all the tall trees are, you know, taken out, or they have to then adapt to a new type of living environment, which may mean that they are not as tall anymore. But you know, I don't foresee that necessarily happening within our lifetime. but of course we do not know for certain what may happen. Alright, well, as those giraffe decide to head off, there's a zebra or two arriving, but we are going to make our way to Founders to see what's there to say hello. Oh, hooray! I'm very happy to be able to see some rhinos here. It does look very much like the ones that were around yesterday, and also another warthog that is coming down to cool off at the water. You can hear it starting to splash about. Well, this is a treat. We're always hopeful we'll get to see something like this. Oh wow, that warthog's also having a great time. Big and small, enjoying the mud today. Oh, now it's time for a bit of a chin scratch.
Wild Earth Travel has a green season special just for South Africans. Explore Botswana's Okavango, a remarkable mosaic of delta and savanna teeming with wildlife. Stay in elegant, luxurious tented camps deeply connected to the wilderness. Discover the Okavango on exciting game drives and tranquil boat journeys. Share stories beneath the stars, remembering what it means to safari through Africa's wild south. Wild Earth Travel. We're waiting for your call.
The Wild Earth Impact Foundation is a non-profit that uses the power of wildlife storytelling as a force for good. We create sustainable development projects that showcase conservation stories, empower people, and inspire environmental action. As a registered South African PBO, you can make a tax-deductible donation to the Wild Earth Impact Foundation. To find out more, visit our website.
My full name is Maxine Gaines. Best part of the job, gosh, I just love everything about guiding. I love being able to observe animal behavior and animals behaving naturally. So for me, that's by far the best part of the job. And so what we do here at Wild Earth is develop those connections with the people that are viewing and maybe just light a little spark that says, you know what, I want to be involved in protecting this ecosystem.
Join our expert guides at dawn for a live, immersive safari as the bush comes to life.
Found ourselves a chameleon, and look how he's changed color.
Every sunrise brings new discoveries.
Pound for pound, a leopard is one of the strongest cats around.
Ask questions, share your thoughts, and connect with nature, live and in real time.
Great excitement, great happiness.
Start your day with adventure.
How cool is this?
Well, how obliging is this little birdie being after disappearing on us? And you can just see that beautiful lilac breast, which of course is what it's named after. But it is definitely not the only color on this bird. It has that lovely turquoise, almost luminescent blue that is just below the lilac, but also when it flies on the wing feathers, it is unmistakable. Bird's eye, there are quite a few different roller species, at least that we get to see in southern Africa. One of them being the broad-billed roller, which was it's a migrant and something that is quite special to see. Another rarity is the racket-tailed roller that we get to see up in the very northern part of the Kruger National Park. Then we also have the European roller, which of course is a migrant from the Eurasian region and comes down to southern Africa now in the summertime, and then heads back again by sort of April, I suppose, next year. And so there are quite a few different members of the roller family. Benny, hello, you're asking what bird this is. This is a lilac-breasted roller, in case you missed it. It actually is quite a common bird, and it's something that you will most likely have a very high chance to be able to see if you come on safari, especially in the low veld of South Africa. So it's one of those birds, the first time you see it, you're like, oh my goodness, that's incredible. And then you realize, oh wow, there's actually quite a few of them around. So I love on this show, especially when we have a little bit of a longer time to sit with and appreciate something as beautiful as this bird. It is by far my favorite one to try and get the perfect photograph of. All right, well, I think it's headed off to try and get some more food. We are going to head over to Old Donio. Oh wow, this is magnificent. Look at that majestic giant. Wow, and there's another elephant on approach as well. Not as big tusks, but you could just see that natural dynamic of the waterhole with the giraffes that moved out of the way. And Leon, that actually sort of links to your comment earlier that was with regard to the hippos and the elephants that don't fight and sort of keep their distance at the waterhole. Now, there are exceptions to that, but even here at Old Donio, we see a lot of respect between the animals, and although there can be disagreements and there has been injuries that have happened between the elephants and other animals, for the most part, they are very aware of each other and sort of respecting that personal space factor. You can just see that elephant sort of looking at those giraffes like, what are you doing? Johan, you are just commenting about the rollers, saying that you still need the racket-tailed. Yeah, it was the last one that I needed as well to add to my rollers for Southern Africa. And I got that earlier this year, actually, which was a really special one that I got to add. And the other roller I forgot is, of course, the purple roller, which is resident and one of the larger rollers that we also get to see down here. The giraffes are not giving up though. They're not being intimidated too much, not disappearing, still hanging about a little bit. That second elephant gave a little bit of a, I don't know if you could really call it a trumpet, but definitely a little bit of exhaled air through the nose. Jamie, earlier you asked a question about giraffes and whether there is a specific necking season, like with impalas, for example, there's a rutting season. And no, so when it comes to giraffe, they basically react to, well, I mean, generally all species that react to the females coming in and going out of estrus. But with giraffe females, it doesn't only happen once a year. So it's actually a 2-week cycle in which they come into estrus for 1 day, basically every 14 days. So what happens is that the males will react to that, and depending on the situation between the hierarchy between the males and how their dominance is sort of playing out between them, they may then engage in necking. Sometimes it can be more playful, sometimes it can be very serious. So no, it's not a particular season that they go into. Oh, there's a zebra. Clearly tired of waiting. Just came in there. Ooh, that elephant chased the giraffe away there. It's got a little bit of a high-pitched trumpet, doesn't it, that smaller bull? You can see the older bull is not too worried. He's much larger, more life experience. Isn't having any issues with anybody. Wow, well, it is such a beautiful scene. We're quickly going to hop over for another bird to Finch. Oh, lovely. We've got a bee eater here. I'm just trying to see exactly which one it could be. It doesn't look like a little, and definitely not a carmine. Quite green with a little bit of blue. Does have a little bit of a lighter chin, which is very interesting. I think it's likely to be the blue-cheeked bee-eater, just with the size and also the color under the chin like that. But very nice to see a different species around compared to the others that we usually see. Yeah, Francois, you're agreeing, blue-cheeked bee-eater. And I saw quite a lot of these in northern KwaZulu-Natal. I got to spend a lot of time with them. At first glance, they do look sort of like a little bee-eater, but they've got more blue, of course, on them. And not as yellow under the chin like that. And of course the size is different too. It does seem quite breezy there today. My goodness me, these birds seem to be holding on for dear life. You can just see the grasses in the background as well, moving a lot. All right, well, we're going to head back over to Oldonyo. Well, we have 3 bulls here now, and it seems like the giraffes are finished. They've headed off. And the zebras are still thirsty. Giraffe is being very cautious. Lemon Heart, you would like to know what my Christmas plans are. Thank you for asking. So I will be heading down to the coast, and I am there's an area of South Africa known as the Transkei, or the Wild Coast, and I head there over the Christmas New Year period. So I'm looking forward to that, just being out, a different type of bush experience, if I could put it that way. It's also wild and untamed, as it were, but not the low felt. So it's nice to have that change once a year. So those are my plans, seeing the family and just chilling out and enjoying the sea. Wow, this is a beautiful elephant. His tusks are also very impressive. Not the longest, but still very thick, showing his maturity. Jackson, it's a great question, and it's one that I think we could only theorize on right now, but I do believe there are cases of animals doing that, where they adapt to different diets depending on the availability of resources, or a certain food type becomes no longer available, and so they adapt to eating something else. And it is a remarkable thing, and nature is amazing, animals are amazing, and not necessarily that every single animal could be able to do that. I'm not sure. You know, if you think of something like a lion that is a carnivore, you know, would they be able to adapt to an insectivorous diet or a completely herbivorous diet? I'm not sure, but I do think that they are incredibly adaptive in so many ways, the animals out here, and over time I think that adjustments can be made to survive. You know, that instinct is so strong. And look, I think there may be a limit, like I was saying, in terms of a carnivore or a herbivore then having to adapt to something that their body is just not designed to manage it all. But within a certain capacity, I think there is place for adaptation. And like I say, a new diet, if the circumstances arise that they're forced to have to do it. Alright, from these ellies, we're going to head over to an ostrich.
Do you want to know why impala are the most common antelope we find here in the Kruger National Park? You can ask me questions like this in real time. Our safaris are live and interactive here in the heart of Africa. Join me on Safari Live. Connect with nature.
Join our expert guides at dawn for a live, immersive safari as the bush comes to life.
Found ourselves a chameleon, and look how he's changed color.
Every sunrise brings new discoveries.
Pound for pound, a leopard is one of the strongest cats around.
Ask questions, share your thoughts, and connect with nature live and in real time.
Great excitement, great happiness.
Start your day with adventure.
More and more friends seem to be arriving here to these elephants. We've now got 4 in total. Lemon heart, it's a great question. Why are they called cattle egrets? I suppose in the same way that, the oxpeckers are called oxpeckers. It's sort of human association in terms of the names that are given, and where maybe they were first seen or maybe associated with something that's very familiar to the people in the area, as to why they were called that. So the cattle egrets, I've seen it for myself in the local communities that border these bush or wild areas. You often see oxpeckers on a cow or an ox, or you see cattle egrets following the herds of cattle, because they are still doing the same thing, just on domestic animals. And so the cattle egrets will often follow things like herds of cattle, but also then like buffalo or waterbuck or even elephants. Well, I mean, if you can't find a rubbing post, just use your fellow elephant. Looks like everybody's deciding to move towards the water again. Always fascinating to see these elephants interact, and you can just see a little bit of smelling going on there from trunk to mouth as well. We're going to head over now to a little reptile that is at Lentor. Oh, hello, little one. My goodness me, have you ever seen such a happy terrapin in your whole life? It just looks like it's got that little permanent happy grin on its face. I don't think it's actually smiling, but I like to think it is. David, you'd like to know if I ever considered becoming a vet or ecologist. Not in school. I didn't consider that really at all. But later on, now that I think found my calling in the bush and doing this job and really what I want to do for the rest of my life, it definitely is more appealing in potentially being able to further my knowledge. I don't know if I would ever go as far as to completely shift careers and become something like a vet, but to further my qualifications in terms of ecology or zoology and things like that's definitely appealing to me. I do enjoy learning and studying, but being a guide and sort of moving into incorporating more of whether it's private guiding safaris or taking you all on game drive through Wild Earth, that sort of side of things is really where my passion lies. Having guests and that sort of aspect is lost when you just focus on the scientific side of things. So a combination of both is definitely why guiding is so wonderful, and as well as, of course, doing the live game drives and the waterhole show. Looks like this terrapin is on the move a little bit. I love watching them move because they can try forever. Okay, this one's being very successful the first time, but often they'll sort of do some air swimming and then they'll just plop back into the water. Dark Main Lover, hello, lovely to hear from you. You say this terrapin does look happy. I mean, it's got the sunshine, it's got a very comfortable log, it looks like. What is there not to be happy about? Lemon Heart, you'd like to know, why is showing affection important for some animals? So it's a great question, thank you. I think it all comes down to the importance of social bonds. And so affection, for example, with lions, it's a great one to use. It's all about affirming those social bonds. Their strength lies in the pride, in having each other. If it's not the pride, if it's the dominant males being brothers or partners, that affection is important because they need each other for survival. Affection becomes less important for solitary animals, of course, because they're alone. And so that becomes less of a prominent activity that they would engage in. Whereas when you've got animals that are in a social structure where they depend and rely on each other, that affirmation of those bonds and therefore the affection between them, the socializing aspect becomes very important. I think of wild dogs, even baboons, impalas even, sometimes we can see that allo grooming happening between them. So that is all part of it. Something just ran past there in the background. I'm not sure what that was. I just saw the reflection on the water. Trixie, you'd like to know if the terrapin's plastron is hard or soft. So when we refer to the plastron, it is basically what's on the belly of a terrapin or a tortoise or a turtle. And it's like the armor for the underside. So we've got the shell on the top, and the plastron is at the bottom. So typically that is still bone, and it is still hard. So even though doesn't look like the shell on the outside, it is still a protective covering. And although I've never held a terrapin and touched it underneath, I do believe that it is a hard, bony sort of feeling that it would have. Oh wow, beautiful birds in the background. Are those some finches, a red-headed weaver maybe? Some female red-headed weavers mixed in there? Just see this color, my goodness. Definitely some fire finches there. Beautiful and bright. Oh wow, we've headed over to the hippos at Tembo Plains, and look how cute this little one is walking in the water. Oh whoa, head first. So Jamie, when it comes to hippos and their social bonds, there's definitely also an affection that plays its part. If I think of looking at baby hippos and how affectionate they are with mom, always wanting that physical contact with her, resting their heads on her back. And then there's a little bit of play as well between the younger ones that also takes place. So that is all part of strengthening their social bonds. actually see a little bit of play happening in the background there with two younger hippos. Now, of course, this play that we're seeing is quite fun and light-hearted, but it can be quite serious between dominant bulls or bulls that are fighting for territory. Well, from these playful hippos, we are going to head over to some beautiful zebra who are at Old Donyo. Wow, well, that is just beautiful with the sun coming out, and I'm glad that the zebras are having their moment. It was quite busy here earlier with the 4 elephants and the giraffe, so I'm glad that the zebras are having some time to be able to come and have an uninterrupted drink. All right, well, now that the zebras have moved off, let's head over to some rhino. Well, we've got 2 rhinos here, everyone, and it looks like the little one is just completely passed out. Join me at Mabula Private Game Reserve from 6 to 11 May 2026 for a 5-night private safari for just 6 guests. Just incredibly exciting. Enjoy guided walks, take part in rhino conservation efforts, and explore Mabula's beautiful landscapes from open plains to rocky hills, alive with birds, animals, and vibrant plant life.
At Wild Earth, we believe every story has the power to create change. That's why we've launched the Wild Earth Impact Foundation, a non-profit dedicated to conservation and social impact. By showcasing conservation stories, we can change lives, protect nature, and empower communities. We have partnered with Empowers Africa to accept tax-deductible donations from US donors. Your donation will help fund critical programs that support our mission. Join us and be part of the change.
Would you like to know the difference between a male and female wildebeest? You can ask me questions like this in real time. Our safaris are live and interactive here in the heart of Africa. Join me on Safari Live and connect with nature.
Join our expert guides at dawn for a live, immersive safari as the bush comes to life.
Found ourselves a chameleon, and look how he's changed color.
Every sunrise brings new discoveries.
Pound for pound, a leopard is one of the strongest cats around.
Ask questions, share your thoughts, and connect with nature, live and in real time.
Great excitement, great happiness.
Start your day with adventure.
Animals are not going to thrive, and it's just going to lead to more human wildlife conflict, which is not good, and the animals will not thrive in that space. So the fences that are put up in certain areas of Africa where that sort of completely open system, like for example what we see in the Masai Mara, is not possible, it is better to have the fences than to not have the fences. So I hope that makes sense. There is a lot to consider and a lot of factors that one has to take into consideration. If it was just no people and just open expanse of land. That is, I suppose, in a way what it was like before human settlement became what it is more like today in terms of human population. But I think where reserves are managed well and things are kept in balance, then the animals are better off being in those reserves than just being left to their own devices and being in unprotected areas where they can then be harmed. Alright, well, it does look like these rhinos are moving off. But I do hear some movement. Let's just see what's happening. Oh, whoa. Hello. Are you arriving for your cool down? Fascinating to see what this rhino is doing. If it's simply just liking the feel of the water, or is actually going to decide to sit down in that spot. Maybe just having a sniff of where that female and her youngster were. Well, you could even see the exhale there with how it blew the dust on the ground. definitely a big male rhino here that's picked up on the scent of that female, I think. And just doing some investigating. Tail's curled up. That usually means maybe oh, it got a fright from the warthog. Alright, well, it does look like he is also slowly moving off following the scent of that female. Let's head over to Tau. Well, it's been a while since I've visited Tau here. It's looking beautiful, my goodness me. And we have quite a large herd of wildebeest there. I wouldn't be surprised if we see a few young wildebeest any day now. The babies are going to be born. David, you want to know if animals have a voice box, where their vocalizations come from. So not all animals have voice boxes. Most mammals do, where the vocal cords sit. Of course, birds as well have, it's not exactly the same, but they of course can produce sound through their voices. And things like, I think, fish, insects, they don't have the voice box like we do. But they can produce sound in other ways. If I think of cicadas, for example, that rub their legs together to be able to make a very, very high-pitched noise. So it's interesting how animals adapt to what they have available to them. If they need to make sound, how they then produce it. But no, not every animal has a voice box. Oscar, interesting question. You want to know, why are blue wildebeest more common to see than black? So there's a few reasons for that, Oscar. Generally speaking, of course, the blue wildebeest has a much wider distribution all throughout Africa. So you've got subspecies that occur, but all falling underneath the blue wildebeest sort of banner. And they are more adaptive. They are able to basically survive in more of a variety of habitats and feed on different plant species and that sort of thing. Oh, there's an elephant. Whereas the black has a very limited distribution in southern Africa, and also less adaptive, needing certain basically can't survive as well as the blue wildebeest has been able to, but also they have historically been overhunted, the black wildebeest, which has limited their distribution as well. This elephant is so content, my goodness me, with all that delicious green grass. And you can imagine that this is just the perfect situation for this elephant. Keeping cool, access to water and mud whenever he needs it, as well as his food. There just cannot be a more perfect combination for him. Oh, hello. Crocodile on the move. There's a white-faced whistling duck there. Two of them, it looks like, on the left. And there we have some knob-billed ducks, also known as comb ducks. A male on the right there, very impressive with that beautiful iridescence, and he's got that big knob that develops in breeding time. There you go, you can see it on top of his beak, and that's basically increased blood flow, and that knob swells to impress the ladies, which are all there to his left hand side, or his right hand side, sorry, our left. Moonlight at Midnight, you have asked a question that actually has been asked a few times when we are watching here at Tau, because it does get so muddy, and just watching the elephant here with his legs in the water, it does bring up that question. And we know that here at Tau they have helped. I think the last time was a little zebra that was stuck, and the reserve management team did assist with that, but it does completely depend on the reserve and the circumstances as to whether assistance will be given to an animal. Obviously when it comes to little ones, that's much easier to try and help, just logistically wise, in terms of very large adult animals, for example. So I do know they have done that before here for animals that have gotten stuck in the mud. Griffin Madikwe is looking so beautiful now that it's rained, and the colors are really, really pretty. It's lovely to see the water level rising as well. All right, well, let's head back over to Tembo Plains where there are those hippos. Erica, hello. You say that you've seen multiple rhinos walking together before, but you'd like to know what is the largest number of rhino that I've seen in a herd together. So I've seen a group of, I think it was 14 white rhino together. That was an amazing sighting here in the Lowveld, especially with it being part of sort of the greater Kruger area. And it was remarkable. It was a group of, there was a very big sort of bull off to the side, and then there were multiple females and their youngsters that were all together. And yeah, it was something very special that I have seen. I haven't seen more than that before, but I have also seen other groups of about 8 to 10. It's nice to see these hippos so active. I must say, we've been here a few times, fairly recently, and they often are just sort of lying on the bank. But today, I don't know if it's a little bit cooler, that's allowing these hippos to just be more active. Well, is that one got a little bit of a lump or a tumor there on the side, or is it just the lighting? No, it does look like there's maybe some sort of something there, although it doesn't look like it's affecting it too negatively. So David, when it comes to hippos and the sun and getting warm, with them not being reptiles, it's not vital for them to have sun in terms of actually having the energy to be able to do anything. So for them, not having sun is not a huge issue. They do like to warm up in the sun, definitely, but I think they actually also like a bit of overcast, cooler weather where they can move around more. They don't necessarily have to only be out at night time to go and do their grazing. So overall, not having sun for a few days is not a problem for them.
We'll see you out on safari. My full name is Cedric Leslie Dold. The best driver at Wild Earth, it is me. I believe I'm the best driver. I think so because I've there's a part of my job I say is just to try and look out for these animals, track them down. I love tracking animals. I love looking for fresh tracks, and if you can find them, it's just at the moment of accomplishment. If I wasn't a presenter for Wild Earth, I would be the drummer for AC/DC.
Join our expert guides at dawn for a live, immersive safari as the bush comes to life.
Found ourselves a chameleon, and look how he's changed color.
Every sunrise brings new discoveries.
Pound for pound, a leopard is one of the strongest cats around.
Ask questions, share your thoughts, and connect with nature live and in real time.
Great excitement, great happiness.
Start your day with adventure.
Look them up, and different short courses that they offer that are online actually as well now, so you don't have to necessarily be on site to learn more about not only guiding but also conservation and the environment and animals and that sort of thing. And then you can look at many different sort of non-profit conservation organizations that would be open to accepting volunteers. For example, getting in touch is really the only way to find out whether it's in the Lowveld from experience, places like Moholoholo Rehabilitation Centre, whether it's the Endangered Species Wildlife Centre here in Hoedspruit. You could look at organizations like Rhino Revolution, the Endangered Wildlife Trust. So it's all about in terms of reaching out and finding opportunities to get more involved on those topics. Definitely seems like this one is having a bit of a sniff and a lick on the other one. doesn't look like the older one is necessarily bothering or hurting the little one. It does seem like it's I don't know if that is foam around the mouth. So I'm not sure. I'm not sure what's happening in terms of these two. But there's something that's attracted the older one to the younger one there around the backside. I do love when a hippo rolls over though, and you can see their feet. I definitely think it's they are, at least the older one there is quite playful with the younger one. I'm not sure where mom is. I think if she felt that the little one was threatened at all, they would intervene. Dark Main Lover, it's a pleasure. It's been a fantastic show today. It's absolutely flown by. I can't believe we just have like a minute left. It's gone so quickly. But yeah, we've had some great sightings today and a lot of interesting questions. So thank you so much to everybody for participating and sending them through. It's always lovely to hear from you, and it adds so much to the show as we go along. We're all learning together out here, and there's always even behavior like what we're seeing right now to keep us on our toes. Joanne Mello, thank you so much. I hope you have a good rest of your Tuesday as well. And to everybody watching, we will be back again tomorrow for your Live at the Waterhole show, same time, same place, and I will be back with you, so I'm very much looking forward to that. But from myself and the whole team here at Live at the Waterhole, we do wish you a pleasant day or evening ahead, depending where you are in the world, and we will see you all again tomorrow. Goodbye for now.